Today's top stories at NBR: the new Auckland Airport CEO, a step change for Hatch, Infratil adds to its radiology interests, and there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Monday, October the 4th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. NBR's week-long series Dealmakers 2021, New Zealand's M&A Blitz, has started. We're taking an in-depth look at New Zealand's record levels of mergers and acquisitions. And joining me to talk about the project was the NBR's Hamish McNicol and Will Mace.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, I think, just as we first went into lockdown again, we sent out a whole bunch of surveys to a bunch of law firms and corporate advisors and the like to get a bit of a sense of what they've been up to.
Just the insights, the interviews that we've gotten. I think, I spoke to Goldman Sachs CEO Andrew Barclay, and so there will be a sort of a profile on him and some of the other top deal makers.
And look out for Dealmakers 2021, New Zealand's M&A Blitz, right through this week at nbr.co.nz. Newly announced Auckland Airport CEO Carrie Hurahanganui's varied experience at Air New Zealand from flight attendant to COO will be useful in her new role, but the switch will require a distinct change in mentality, according to an analyst following the company. The NZX-listed airport company announced the change this morning, as its current CEO, Adrian Littlewood, had earlier said he would step down before the end of the financial year. Littlewood will finish in the role on November 12th, while Hurahanganui will begin early next year, with Mary Liz Tuck taking charge in the interim. The analyst, who preferred not to be named, backed Hurahanganui's choice as CEO and told NBR that she clearly has plenty of aviation experience and was very commercial in mindset. The airport stock was up 0.7% early this afternoon. NZX-listed QEX Logistics, whose shares have been suspended since its board resigned en masse in mid-February, has been fined $80,000 for failing to properly disclose the theft of $4.3 million worth of milk powder and baby formula in February. The stock exchange's regulatory body, NZ-Regco, said it had launched a formal investigation into QEX over its compliance with corporate governance and continuous disclosure requirements. In its sights were a statement made by the company about charges the Ministry for Primary Industries brought against it in November, as well as the timing of disclosures related to the alleged theft of the milk powder and baby formula from its Shanghai warehouse. A decision related to the alleged theft announcements was released today and has seen QEX publicly censured by the New Zealand Markets Disciplinary Tribunal, as well as given an $80,000 penalty. Global wrap platform provider FNZ's back office capability and global footprint will give Hatch the step change it needs. In the increasingly competitive online investment platform market, co-founder Kristen Lundman says the sale of the popular online investing platform to New Zealand-founded one-stop shop for wealth managers FNZ was announced today for an undisclosed sum. Kristen Lundman joined the NBR's Hamish McNicol.
So we went in and built this thing called Hatch with, recognizing that there would be a time that we had to spin out. And so we did just that. We engaged earlier this year in conversations with Kiwi Wealth about what might look like, what structure that might take, partners that were attractive to Hatch. And here we are. So it's probably been a few months back and forth with FNZ.
Hatch co-founder Kristen Lundman with Hamish McNicol. Auckland Steel distributor Vulcan Steel is in the process of filing its prospectus with Australian and New Zealand authorities in advance of an IPO. The company will not speak to the media as it gears up to list on both the ASX and NZX, but NBR understands the shape of the float will be revealed by mid-October after documents are filed with New Zealand's FMA and Australia's ASIC. Vulcan, which is privately owned, teamed up with UBS and Credit Suisse in July to float the idea of a $500 million initial public offering to fund managers. The company's overall value was put as high as Australian $1.5 billion by advisors. Listed infrastructure investor Infratil has added to its radiology interests with a deal to partner with Auckland Radiology Group in creating a national diagnostic imaging business. In a statement to the NZX, Infratil said it was investing 30 to 60 million for at least 50.1% of the business. The deal follows Infratil's purchase of about 56% of Pacific Radiology for 313.6 million in May. This morning, Infratil said the other half of its new national radiology business would be part owned by Pacific Radiology and Auckland Radiology doctors and management. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, in Margin Call this week, Nicholas Bagnall asks if the market falls, who will fall hardest? While in the second of NBR's week-long Deal Makers series, Hamish McNichol looks at what's behind the storm of M&A activity. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow from around lunchtime for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then same time, same place, right here from 5:30 again tomorrow for another NBR Today.